Meanwhile, the Federal Minister for School Education, Peter Garrett, is in Darwin trying to convince the NT government to sign up to the so-called Gonski reforms. He's been holding talks with the Territory Minister, Peter Chandler, who, before the meeting, said Canberra's current offer puts the NT's finances at risk.
What I'll be asking Mr Garrett today is for a better deal for Territorians. If we can get that in education, I'll be lobbying as hard as I can to the Chief Minister to sign up to Gonski, but only after we get a better deal for Territorians.
And a short time ago, I was joined in the studio by the Federal Education Minister, Peter Garrett. Minister, thank you very much for your time. You've just come out of a very lengthy meeting with our own Education Minister, Peter Chandler. Are you any closer to getting the Territory signature?
Well, look, I think the good thing about my meeting with the new Education Minister, Jonathan, was that he's positive about school reform. He's positive about the Gonski recommendations. Clearly, he did say to me that there are issues that are important for the Northern Territory in any negotiation, if it's to happen. And that's a matter for the Chief Minister in negotiations with the Prime Minister. But the bottom line here is that Northern Territory schools and students will be better off, unquestionably, if NT signs up to the plan. And I was pleased to have a pretty decent conversation with this Education Minister. Here's hoping it goes further.
The country Liberals say they're broke. They simply can't afford it. And a lot of that, they say, might go back to for instance, your government's cutbacks in our GST revenue. Can you do a better deal?
Well, I was very clear with the Minister about this. De-link any discussion about the GST from this important school reform discussion. We've made a decision in our budget to provide extra support. The New South Wales government, which is a Liberal government, have made that decision as well.
And I expect
the Northern Territory government to make a similar decision. And by the way, the Northern Territory government receives a great deal of investment from this Labor Commonwealth government. That will continue over time. It's about decisions and choices that you make, but most importantly, it's about priorities. Let's make our kids the priority.
I understand that one thing Peter Chandler would like to achieve is maybe delaying our initial payment. That might help us balance our books, maybe in the short term. Is that something you consider?
Well, again, the offer's on the table. It's a 2-for-1 offer from the Commonwealth, but discussing the way in which we negotiate an actual final agreement is a matter for us and for the Territory, and we'll certainly listen to the Territory about any issues they bring forward.
You've cut funding from universities. Is it wise simply to just transfer money? Are we cutting back from one area of the education sector just to give to another?
Well, we've made school education a priority. That was the right thing to do, and the measures that we have in relation to universities come on the back of record levels of increased funding, and funding will still increase to universities over time. I mean, whatever else people might say about what's going on in the world, this is a government that spent a lot of money on education, and I think properly. Look, what's important here is that for Northern Territory students and parents, if the kids here in the Territory are going to get good jobs in the future, they need a strong education foundation to do that, and this is what this National Plan for School Improvement is all about.
OK, Peter Garrett, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, mate.